Actually, you must have seen some people whose hands are like trembling like this way. They can't, like their neck remains trembling, like their body organs remains trembling. This is called Parkinson disease. And Parkinson disease actually, mm, it takes place due to degeneration of neuron, right? So the Parkinson disease involves the loss of the nerve cells in an area of midbrain known as substantia nigra, midbrain part, right? In a healthy brain, these cells produces, and the people start forgetting things, right? They just put something and they forget that where they put, like they forget it for the short time. That is also Parkinson disease, right? So in a healthy brain, these cells produces a neurotransmitter dopamine, a dopamine that makes us, like we feel happy because of this hormone. So this is called a happy hormone as well, dopamine. And the axons from them spread to the frontal cortex, this frontal part. They spread it. The brain stem spinal cord, so that they are closely involved with the control and coordination of the movement. In Parkinson disease, these dopamine producing cells and the motor control gradually lost, right? The loss of the neuron take place because of the um, this disease, right? So for the long time, the brain compensates the loss. Most of the people don't show the symptom and the disease until around the 80% of their dopamine producing cells have disappeared. That is the bad thing with this disease. When the 80% of the cell will destroy, then the symptom will come. So this is dangerous. Parkinson disease usually develop in the people over the 50-year-old. Means it takes place in old age people. Although it can appear in younger people. These are still not clear. In young onset Parkinson disease, which is very rare, there appears to be relatively strong genetic link. However, in the most common form of the Parkinson disease, the genetic link is much weaker and other factors are also involved. Environmental factors play major role, as there is a link number of the toxins, herbicides, pesticides. Parkinson's disease affect around 7 to 8 million people around the world. This thing we have already covered twice, right? Remember?
Yes.
Okay. So the way individual react to a falling level of the dopamine in Parkinson disease is very common. The common symptom include following: tremor, means shaking. I told you that their hand remains shaking like this way. If they'll capture anything, it will keep on shaking like this way, right? Which usually begins with the just one hand. This is the first symptom around the 70% affected people. Slowness of movement. It is hard to start to make the movement, and movement take longer to perform, right? Stiffness, rigidity of the muscles. This can make it difficult to turn over in the bed and stand up for the sitting in the chair. Other problems that appear in this progressive, they may include the poor balance, difficulty to walking, problem of sleeping and depression, and even difficulties to speech and breathing, right? Treating the symptom. Treatment in drugs, these are the drugs: levodopa, L-dopa, precursor of the dopamine, right? So this is one of the drug. Another drug, dopamine agnosis. The chemical bind to dopamine receptor in the brain synapse and thereby mimic the effect of dopamine. The same thing, right? They do the mimicry of that dopamine. Uh, Monoamide dioxide, MOAB inhibitor, inhibit the enzyme monoamine oxide B, MAOB, which breaks down the dopamine brain synapse. Thus, MOAB inhibitor reduce the destruction of the dopamine made by the cells. Gene therapy, right? We are trying to go through with gene therapy, stem cell therapy. Is it? Do you know these both of the therapy?
Well, I've heard about them. Don't know in detail.
Just let me tell you. What is the gene therapy, Affaf? In gene therapy, suppose that a person is affected with these cells. It means there is a genetical breakdown. Means the genes which is making the dopamine, it is get destroyed or it is not there, right? What we can do, we can incorporate the genes that is present in, we can incorporate that gene in the patient, right? and then the patient will be able to produce that dopamine, right? Stem cell therapy. Nowadays, what has happened when a child born, when a child take birth, then what happens? All right, you'll see that many of the people, many of the doctors, and what not doctors exactly, they are marketing representative, which from field from the medical. They will come to you and they will say that if you want the stem cell therapy, a stem cell preservation or a stem cell bank, you can, if you want, you can take this facility. What they do, they take the placenta of that newborn baby, and they keep it in a particular refrigerator kind of the condition, where they preserve it for the next 50 years. What will happen, suppose that there is a disease which destroy the particular cell, for example, a particular part of the liver get damaged. What will they do? They will take those cells are capable of producing any of the organ. What they will do, they will take the in that bank, they will take out that umbilical cord, and they will make the liver cell from those cells, and the damaged part of the liver will be removed, and the new part of that have been developed in a laboratory, that will be placed over there. Means that will be that will fill the that patch up, right? So this is called stem cell therapy. And stem cell therapy, suppose that this is the stem cell of my daughter, then it will be applicable, it will be helpful for the therapy of her brother, her father like me, and her mother as well.
Okay.
Got it or not?
Yes.
Okay. Stem cells are those kind of the cells from where you can make anything. They are just clone cells.
Is it really effective?
Yeah, it's effective. Look, Affaf, in this world, human cloning is prohibited. You can make the human clone from the stem cell aspect. That is true. You can make the human clone, but to make the human clone and to make the WMD, weapon for mass destruction, biological weapon, that is prohibited across the world. That is a world crime. That is not crime for any country. That is a world crime. So what you can do, you cannot make a human clone. You can make the clone of any organ. So how the clone will be made? Clone of organ. Clone of organ can be made from these stem cells. Got it? That's why we call them stem cells.
Okay.
Depression, you know what is the depression, right? There is also uh, chemical activity. Everyone gets low mood and feel, uh, that cannabis. Some people take the cannabis.
Yeah.
We, yeah, you must have seen that people. So what cannabis do? Those people who take the cannabis, they feel very happy. What happened? Dopamine. When they take these drugs, the dopamine release will start, and it makes them happy. So that's what the effect of the drugs as well. Everyone gets low mood and feels sad time to time. The people often say that they are feeling a bit depressed. However, this is not a clinical depression, which is seriously illness that affect many people during their lives. The cause of the depression are complex and we do not fully understand them. However, one may be a problem with the neurotransmitter serotonin in the brain. Serotonin is the it's the same thing, like it's a type of neurotransmitter. Serotonin is a synaptic transmitter, means chemical transmission takes place. It helps in the chemical transmission. Serotonin is a synaptic transmitter in a group of the cells, brain stems that have extensive influence. They have axon. They have axon that spread throughout the brain in the cortex, the cerebellum, and the spinal cord. Low level of serotonin result the fewer nerve impulses traveling around the brain. This prevents the brain to working effectively. Researcher has shown that the serotonin pathway are often abnormal in the people suffering from the depression. Sometimes the depression is triggered by the external factors such as the work, relationship, stress, death, friend, family member, and some of the cases. Depression seems to be simply a result of the chemical changes in the brain. Serotonin is not the only neurotransmitter implicated in the depression. Dopamine and noradrenaline, we have discussed both of them. Dopamine and noradrenaline may also play a role in the condition of the some of the people. Treating depression. Treatment of the depression include the use of the drugs, talking therapies, which can help the patient to accept the adverse life event. Many of the drugs used in the depression, like the serotonin synapse system and other neurotransmitter. Some the best known antidepressant drugs are the SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. These drugs inhibit the reuptake proteins in the presynaptic membrane. As a result, more serotonin remains in the synaptic cleft, more impulses travel along the postsynaptic axon, and reduces the symptom of producing more positive mood. That is serotonin. They increase the level of serotonin. These are the drugs: tetracycline, antidepressant, TCA. This is also illegal drugs and the brain. Drugs such as L-DOPA and SSRI can have the clear and measurable effect on the way of the brain work. These drugs are therapeutic and legal. Other drugs enjoyable and legal. Other drugs are enjoyable and legal, such as caffeine from the coffee, tea from the coca. These all put the positive. Caffeine crosses the
Okay,
blood.
so these are drugs?
Yeah, these are the drugs. Even tea is the drugs. In tea have the theanine. That's the drugs.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
look, drugs we always take in the negative sense. Nowadays, medical shops are called drug shops. We call
Okay.
them drug shop. So what is the drugs? So anything which affect your neurons, that is drug.
Okay.
Be positive. So when we take the tea, we feel energetic. When we take the coffee, we feel energetic because it pushes, it gives some energy to our neurons. That is all drugs. Nicotine is drugs, right? So we can take the drug in positive sense as well as in negative sense. Other drugs are enjoyable and legal, such as the caffeine from the coffee, tea, cola energy drinks. Caffeine crosses the blood. You must have seen that there are, I don't know, at your country, it is like available or not. In India, many of the cough syrups have been banned, right? So there were certain brands which have been banned. And even if you want a cough syrup which have codeine, right, you have to show a recent medical prescription to the that medical store. If you don't have any medical prescription and you want to purchase the cough syrup, it's a very simple thing. You can purchase the cough syrup, but you can't purchase a particular cough syrup from the medical store. They won't give you, right? Because it have a substance called codeine. Codeine is found in that cannabis and all that, right? It's a type of drug. So if you take a little amount, it's okay. It will remove the cough. It will help in your coughing. And if you take in larger amount, it will become a like it will have effect of the alcohol, like one bottle alcohol. It have the same effect. So those people who were unable to take the liquor, right, alcohol, because of certain reason. It may be religious reason that people can't take the alcohol. It may be some social reason, like the girls can't have alcohol and go to home. So what they used to do in Delhi and all that, what they used to do, they used to take this cough syrup, this kind of people, right? That's why government have banned that, right? So any drugs, like any medicine, if it is taken beyond a particular amount, right, it becomes a drug. It becomes unethical drug, right? Got it? So that is a
Yeah.
like this medicine which is described inside MDMA, methylene dynamine nitrogen methadamine. So this is MDMA. This is the drugs which is supplied in a disc bar. Like those people who keep on dancing for a long time, like the healthy person, like a heavy person like me can't dance even more than 15 or 20 minutes. Like if you are swifter, if you are fit, very if you are gymnast, if you are something sportsman, then you can dance it for the 30 minutes, 35 minutes. But if somebody is dancing on the dancing floor for 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour, they take the drugs. And the effect influence of the drugs, they can do that. Without the help of drugs, this is not possible. So they take this MDMA, right? That composition is called MDMA. So drugs as
Sir, I need to ask,
yeah,
what are corticosteroids?
these are like look, these are a type of drugs, right? Basically, the steroids, all the steroids, they have certain impact on our body. Like some of the steroids, look, like some of the steroids, they are used by the gym people, right? So what they do, these gym people, they increase the size of the muscle, because without these steroids, in the gym, they cannot build their body like this way. What you see in this body champion competition and all that, right? That kind of the body cannot be made without the help of that steroid, and that is a type of drugs, right? Steroids are a type of drugs which are made up of basically this one, fat component, like so. These are the drugs. Just they are used to enhance the body power, nothing else.
Sir, I'm talking about corticosteroids, the ones that you apply on your skin.
They are just drugs, but they are applicable for I told you that the amount itself will decide that will they have positive impact or negative impact,
Okay.
right? So there are a number of the drugs, right? So these all steroids are all kind of the steroids. In a limited amount, they are hormone. These all are found in our body, right? In limited amount. Look, have you listened about the doping test?
No.
Come on. Whenever you'll will you see that the commencement of the Commonwealth game, Olympic games? Have you listened about it? Olympic, Commonwealth, and all that.
Yeah.
Right. So in these games, many of the players, they are undergo for the doping. Every player go undergo for the doping. They take their blood sample, and in
Oh,
blood sample,
okay, I know
I-
that.
yeah. So if a person, so steroid is present in our body. If it is present in limited range, then we can go ahead. If it is found beyond that range, it means it have been inoculated externally, and then the person is rejected from them. You cannot go ahead, right? So steroids, if they are present in a particular permissible amount, natural amount which is produced in our body, that is not a drugs. Beyond that, this is a drugs. Got it? Now got my point.
Yes.
And they have the negative impact, like these kind of the drugs is given for a skin, given for the muscles and all that. They have negative impact, believe on me. They have negative impact in two things. If you are taking these kind of the steroid, first it will damage your liver, then it will damage your kidney, and third your heart. These are the three targets, and they are the very thing. So never take a steroid at any condition until it's not a matter of life. So drugs like L-Dopa, SSRI can use a clear and measurable effect on way of the brain work. These drugs are the therapeutic and legal. Other drugs are enjoyable, and it is written wrong, and illegal. It should be illegal, not legal. Such as the caffeine from coffee, tea, cola, energy drinks. Caffeine, caffeine crosses the blood-brain barrier and impact the brain a number of the ways. It includes slowing down the rate of the dopamine reabsorption at the dopamine synapse. But there are some drugs which uses specifically because of they have an impact on the way of the brain work. These drugs are often illegal. One which is widely used, ecstasy, MDMA, 3,4 methylene dioxy and methylene amphetamine. Ec- Ecstasy has marked the effect on the brain. It acts stimulant, increasing the heart rate, right? And similar amphetamine, and also a psychotropic drug, which alters the way. Psychotropic drugs are those which alter your behavior. They change your behavior, right? So psychotropic drugs which alter the way of the person sees the world. The short-term effect of the drugs changes the mood and make the people feel sociable, full energy, warm, empathetic. The drugs causes these changes by affecting the serotonin synapse in the brain. Serotonin also has a major effect so the way brain work. As you have just learned, the depression seems to be result of two little serotonin in some way. ACAST blocks the serotonin reuptake and transport system so that the synapse completely flooded with the serotonin. So serotonin get filled with means accumulation of the serotonin takes place in the synapse, which cannot be returned to the presynaptic knob. It means it is filled between these knobs, but it cannot be reabsorbed. There are also some evidences that drugs makes the transport system work in reverse. So the all serotonin in the synaptic knobs move into the synapse, which affect the postsynaptic membrane and flooded the brain with the impulses.
So,
ACAST,
people that are impulsive, do they have issues with dopamine and serotonin?
yeah. People who are the impulsive, there are dopamine, like dopamine secretion is less, and the second thing that is the adrenaline and noradrenaline. The secretion of the adrenaline and noradrenaline is more. That's why their heart rate increases, rate of respiration increases, their energy increases, right? And
So
it
how
makes the
can they
people more
like
aggressive.
increase their dopamine?
Dopamine do not increase because dopamine gives you pleasure.
Okay.
So dopamine level will reduce. This is the impact of those people who are aggressive. There is a like quick and more secretion of this adrenaline. They become more aggressive.
Okay.
The hormones and then psychological thing. These two are the combination. This because we have studied the control and coordination, chemical as the nervous coordination, right?
Okay.
So in the nutshell, these move into the synapse, which affect the postsynaptic membrane and flood the brain with the impulses. Uh, ACAST may also affect the dopamine system with a high level of serotonin, stimulating the release of the dopamine, adding the pleasure sensation. But there are some debate among the scientists. There is a debate in the scientists that whether this is really the case. Using the ECAST causes the physical changes, such increase the heart rate and also causes the problem in the body's thermoregulatory system. There may be no desire to drink, which can lead to hyperthermia, overheating, which raises the blood pressure and irregular heartbeat. Sometimes the people take the MDMA and they like if old age people take, they die because of the heart attack. That also takes place. So look, the less desire to drink, which can lead to the hyperthermia. Means you're naturally, if you'll drink less water, then what will happen? Your body temperature will increase uh, with a raise in the blood pressure and irregular heartbeat. In a small number of the cases, this can lead to the death. Look, it is written over here. ACAT-C can also affect the hypothalamus so that the secretes um, antidiuretic hormone, antidiuretic hormone, which which stop the formation of urine process, right? Which is normally secreted when the body needs to conserve the water. This effectively stop the kidneys to producing urine and can lead to the problem if some keep the drinking water in an attempt to stay hydrated and cool down, right? So you must have seen that the people in that you must have seen Hollywood movies and all that, the people taking the tablet in the disc and all that. They are the MDMA actually. Now the plant part, right? What is the plant? Is this? Which plant is this one?
Which one? This one? No, I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, you don't know. This is a plant which
I've
eats
seen
the.
it.
Yeah. Oh, you have seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Dionia. Actually, this is Dionia, and this plant is basically found in Australia. So they eat the insect actually, right? So their leaves are like this one, this way, and they have the spines over here. So some insect sit over it, they just close it down and they eat the insect, and they eat the insect for to fulfill the deficiency of the nitrogen in the body because uh, they grow in that area where the nitrogen deficiency is present in the soil. Basically, they grow in the muddy region.
Okay.
This is called Venus flytrap in common language, and the actual name is Dionia. So how does this take place? Plant respond to presence or absence of light. We know that the plant respond because of two things, like chlorophyll and phytochromes. They also respond to the direction from which the light is coming because of the hormone that is called oxygen hormone. The intensity of the light, length and daily exposure of the light. Light affect how much the plant grow, direction in which they grow, and when they produce. Plant also sensitive to the gravity, water, temperature, and some cases to touch the chemical. Different parts of the same plant may react differently to same stimulus. For example, shoots grow toward the light, roots go away from the light. A well responding external stimuli, small plant respond to the internal chemical signals. Most of the responses of the plant are concerned with the maximizing the opportunities for photosynthesis and reproduction, right? That is the plant response. Plant response and chemical control plant gives a number of the different chemical. Actually, plant have a hormones, they are called phytohormones, right? And there are five hormones: auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, and ethylene. These are the five hormones which help the plant in chemical control. You know that the plant do not have neuron kind of the system. So neuron kind of the system is not present. So plants body, because they are the backward in the terms of development, in the terms of evolution, right? So plant body is basically controlled by the hormones only. They do not have nervous system, and neural control is not over there, right? Okay, Affaf?
Yes.
Okay. So chemical control of the plant is given by the different chemical produced in response to the stimuli. Many of these chemicals in the plant growth regulator, but they do more than the simply control the growth of the plant. The chemicals which control the growth and develop in the plant are called plant hormones, right? They are produced in the area of the plant and transported around the body of the plant, and means they are produced in certain area and transported all over the plant, and have their effect on the cells in the another area. Some of their effect involve the growth, but many do not. Animals respond to the nervous and chemical masses in a variety of the ways, including the release of their chemicals, the contraction of the muscle, the growth, and all that. Plant also respond to the chemical masses in the number of the different ways. In some cases, the growth is stimulated and in other inhibited. For example, sometime on outside of the plant grows more and in the response to the particular stimulus resulting to shoots or root. These directional response to the specific causes known as tropism. Look, if the movement in plant is taking place towards a particular direction, this is called tropic movement. Clear? TROPIC, tropic movement, right, Affaf? And if the movement is not for the particular direction, this is called nastic movement. Now let me make you understand with the help of example. The shoot tip of the plant always grow towards the direction of light and against the gravity. So direction is fixed towards the light and against the gravity. This is called phototropic movement. Roots always grow towards the gravity and against the light. Geotropic movement. Root always move in the direction of water. Hydrotropic movement. So because they have particular direction, they are moving towards direction or against the direction, against the stimulus, sorry, towards the direction of a stimulus or against the direction of the stimulus. Right, these are tropic movement. But when flower open, so there is no fixed direction. When flower open, flowering take place, there is no particular direction. This is called nastic movement. When you touch Mimosa pudica, that is touch me not plant. Have you touched that plant? Touch me not plant? Mimosa pudica. Have you seen that plant of touch me not plant? No? Haven't you seen that
No,
plant?
no. Sorry,
No.
sir. I was on mute.
So have you seen that plant or not?
No.
No. Touch me not plant is a kind of the plant where when you touch that, it leaves shrink. It's ornamental kind of the plant. No, you haven't seen that.
No.
So touch me not plant is that kind of plant. So there is no fixed direction. So that is also called this one. Uh, a type of movement where direction is not fixed. That is a nastic movement, right? Flowering is just nastic movement. There is no fixed direction, right? So growth is a permanent increase in the size of organism or some part of it. It's brought about by the cell division, and then this is the assimilation of new material, means formation of new material takes place as a result of division, followed by the cell expansion. The main area of certain division in the plant are known the meristematic area, and they occur in just behind the tip of the root or shoot, means upper and lower part. The region of the cell division and cell elongation are particularly sensitive to plant growth substances. These chemical messenger act as the way. Some affect the cell division, increasing the number of the division, and other make it easier for the cellulose wall to stretch, means increase their size. So cell division. So let me write it down here. The hormone which causes the cell division, that name of that hormone is auxin. Write it down. That hormone that causes cell division, the hormone, plant hormone, is called auxin, and that causes the increase in the size of the cell, means assimilation, that is called gibberellin. These are the plant auxin. It is written over here, right? Yes, auxin, right? Done. Write it written. Yes, Affaf?
What, sir?
These both hormone written now.
Writing it down.
Write it down.
Okay, finished. Done, sir.
Done. Okay.
Yeah. So assimilation is because of gibberellin?
Yeah, gibberellin. Gibberellin.
Gibberellin. Okay.
Gibberellin increase the size of the plant, actually cell, right?
Okay.
So if the cell division takes place, then it is growth, right?
So growth is the same as size, isn't it?
Both of the things, cell division and cell, look, above. Suppose that I have 1 billion cell in my body.
Okay.
If the number of cell will increase, 1 billion plus 10 million, then my size will increase. That is growth.
Okay.
Growth will take place. And if the cell, I have just 1 billion per cell, but the size of the cell is increasing, growing due to assimilation, then also my shape and size will increase. So both will lead to the growth.
Okay, so auxin and gibberellin both increase the size of the plant.
Right. Both are the responsible for growth. Clear?
Okay.
Right. How do auxin work in the plant? Auxin affect the ability of the plant cell wall to stretch. For example, in this indole acetic acid, this is the basically IAA. This is the actually the chemical composition of auxin, right? Indole acetic acid is made in the tip of, means auxin, right? It is made in the tip of the shoot and diffuses back toward the zone of the elongation. The molecules of indole acetic acid bind with the specific receptor at the site of the cell membrane and activating active pumping of the hydrogen ions into the cell wall spaces. This changes the hydrogen ion concentration, providing the optimum pH around the 5 for the enzyme to break bond between the neighboring cellulose microfibrils. Right. This allows the microfibril to slide and pass with each other easily. So the walls stay very plastic and reflexible, means they become flexible. The cells absorb the water by the osmosis. As a result, the turgor pressure means swelling. Turgor pressure. The very flexible cell wall is stretched. It starts the stretching of the cell wall, allowing the cell to elongate and expand. Eventually, the cells mature. Indole acetic acid destroyed by the enzyme, right? Further, after the growth, the pH of the cell wall rises. The enzymes are inhibited and bonds between the cellulose microfibrils, right? Consequently, the cell wall become more rigid and again the cell can no longer expand, right? That's how the indole acetic acid means auxin help in growth of the cell, right? Clear or not? Got it?
Yes. So did you read the oxen part?
Yeah, auxin. Auxin is example of indole. Yeah, I missed that. Auxin is example of indole acetic acid. That's what I told you. That auxin. This is indole acetic acid means composition of auxin, right? Are powerful growth stimulator that affect a very low concentration. Auxin produced in the young shoots and always move down to the plant from the shoots to the roots. This movement involves the some active transport and the calcium ion. Auxin also involved in the apical dominance means if the auxin will be present, then the length of the plant will increase, but the horizontal growth will not be there, right? Means the length of the means plant will grow vertically, not horizontally, due to presence of auxin. It is found in the tip of the plant, right? Auxins involved in the apical dominance by suppressing the growth of the lateral shoots, right? So you can see that in the lawn of the grass, it is the gardener always cut the upper part. So by cutting the upper part, it removes the auxin. So it reduces the increase in the length. And when the length is increase in the length do not takes place, then the plant is spread widely, right? This movement involved some active transport of the calcium ion auxin involved in the apical dominance by suppressing the growth of the lateral shoots so that main stem go faster. In the low concentration, they promote the root growth. They also promote the root growth, means vertical growth, upper side and lower side. The more auxin that transported down the stem, the more roots grow. If the tip of the stem is removed, what I was telling you, removing the source of the auxin stimulation, root growth is removed, right? Root and shoot, both of the growth will be removed. Transport of the auxin. This senses in the meristematic cell, auxin diffuses away from the tip, bind to receptor site, activate the hydrogen ion pumping. That's what we studied. This was just a model of representation of the auxin. Zibberellin and seed germination. Auxin do not act alone the control and coordinate the plant response. One more thing, what I want to say, that auxin is also responsible for movement of the plant in the direction of light. Auxin means indole acetic acid. Movement of the plant in the direction of light. That is called phototropic movement. Auxin do not act alone the control of the coordinate the plant response. There are the number of the other classes of the plant hormone that different affect to the plant cells. They work individually and also interact to give extremely sensitive response to the constantly changing the environment. Gibberellin are the another important group of the hormone. These compounds act in several ways, including as the growth regulator. They affect the internode. They affect the internode stem, stimulating the elongation and growing cells. They also promote the growth of the fruit. They are involved in the breaking dormancy, inactive period. In the seed, dormancy means if seed is not germinating, it is sleeping. Put the auxin, it will germinate, right? They also involve the breaking dormancy of inactive seed in seed germination because they stimulate the formation of enzyme in the seed. For example, stimulate the production of amylase, which breaks down the starch stored in the cereal plant. It makes glucose available for the respiration. Means there are some of the plant where starch is found in the seed, but plant require glucose for the development. What it do? It breaks down the dormancy, means it convert the starch into glucose and provide glucose to the plant for the germination, right? This make the glucose available for the respiration, so the embryo of the plant developed during the germination. Gibberellin also stimulate the bolting. Do you know what is the bolting? Bolting,
Vaulting?
bolting. This term, bolting.
Bolting, no.
Bolting is actually a half a process by which what you can do. You must have seen that the cabbage. Cabbage is a very small kind of plant. Have you seen the cabbage plant?
Yes.
So cabbage plant is very small. This kind of a plant. It's a cabbage, and you use it in vegetable. Means node and internodes are very simple. If you this is a cabbage. That's how the cabbage look like, right? If you will put gibberellin, what will happen? Cabbage will become a 5 feet plant, and the leaves of the cabbage will be like this way. Means internode length will increase. This process is called bolting. Means genetically short plant. If you will put gibberellin in genetically short plant, what will happen? Their length will increase, internodal distance will increase. This process is called bolting. Put a gibberellin, like hardly 6 to 9 inch plant. This cabbage is 6 to 9 inch plant. Put the gibberellin over here, it will become a 5 feet plant. That's that process called bolting. Got it?
Yes.
A period of sudden rapid growth in the flowering in biennial plant. Written over.
Sir, do I need to remember the growth of auxin part, the top diagram, and then
No, no,
the
not
paper
diagram,
part?
but you have to remember the function of hormones. What is the impact of hormone? What is the function of hormone? That you have to remember.
Sir, how do auxin and gibberellin differ?
They are the differ that like gibberellin. First thing I told you that the auxin is responsible for increasing the size of the cell by
Oh,
how the process we have just remember that they break the bond of the microfibril. Hydrogen ion goes inside, pH value decreases, then water comes inside, the cell expand, then again the enzyme remove the auxin, and then again the microfibril locks and cell become hard, right? That's how. So first this thing, second important thing I told you that they are the responsible for movement of the plant toward the direction of the sun, right? Gibberellin work differently. It is responsible for seed germination and all that, increasing the fruit size, right? So you have to just note down the auxin and function in the bullet format, right? Got it?
okay.
Seed germination. This is the seed coat. Aileron layer. This is the layer, protein layer, where the enzymes are found, right? And after the hydration, these enzymes become active. They remain safe. This is the embryo part, and this is the carbohydrate, means the starch part, right? When we put the water, hydration, then these enzymes become active. When enzymes become active, they convert this starch into what? They convert this starch into glucose. Then the germination start. Means this embryo will become active, and that's how the germination start. The upper part is called plumule, which make the shoot part. Lower part is called radicle, which make the root part. That's how the germination takes place. Clear?
What's the upper part called?
This upper part is called plumule. Let me write it down. Plumule, right? Plumule will be, this is called plumule. It will be responsible for formation of shoot
Okay.
form, right? This lower part, this is called radicle. A radicle will be for responsible for formation of root.
Okay.
Right? So this alluronol, this is a layer of made up of protein, and this protein layer stores the hormone. Sorry, not hormone, enzyme. After when seed absorb the, why the seed germinate when it absorb the water? Because hydration, after the absorbing of water, means after the hydration, these enzymes become active. That's why seed germination takes place. Clear?
Okay.
Mm. Phytochrome and flowering. Phyto means plant and chrome means pigment, right? So phytochromes are those kind of the chemical which give color to the plant. They absorb light. They're sensitive to light. You can say chlorophyll, which gives a green color to the plant and perform photosynthesis. That is also kind of phytochrome, right? A pigment of plant. Plant needs light. Without light, metabolism of the plant is severely disrupted and no chlorophyll is formed. Chlorophyll is needed for the photosynthesis to occur. If the plant is developed, if the plant is deprived of the light for a long time, it will die. Day length or night length in the environmental cue and that control the change in such a development, flowering, fruiting, ripening, leaf fall, and all that. So, sensory system in the plant, which is the sensory system in the plant, right? Plant do not have neurons. Scientists have known for a long time that the need many plants will germinate only if they are exposed. If they are exposed even very briefly to the light. A researcher in US Department of Agriculture showed that a red light wavelength 620 to 700 nanometer is the most effective that stimulate the germination in the lettuce seed, and far red light wavelength 700 to 800 nanometer inhibit the germination. Means the plant germination is sensitive to the light. That's what scientists discovered. If you exposes the seed to a flash red light, they will germinate. If you expose them a flash a red light followed by the flash for red light, they will not germinate. With any series of the flashlight, it is the color of the flashlight that determine whether or not the seed will germinate. Scientists hypothesize that the existence of the plant pigment that react with the different type of the light and then affect the response of the plant, so acting part of the system that control the photomorphogenesis. Photo means light, morpho means outer structure, genesis means formation, means the formation of external structure, external feature with the help of light. That is collectively, technically, it is called photomorphogenesis, right? In 1960, this pigment was isolated from the plant and called phytochrome. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Phytochrome. Plant make a number of the different phytochromes, but but uh, they all respond to the light. Of like one more one. Affaf, you have to do one thing. You have to take the screenshot quickly, right? I will tell you something in short. Okay,
Okay.
are you ready?
Yes.
Now this is on your screen. Look, uh, these are the different name of the hormone, right? Naturally, auxin is called indole acid, indole butyric acid. It is written, right? Synthetic auxin, this is available in the market, 2,4-D, 2,4-dichlorophenolacid acetic acid, 2,4,5-T, right? Same, 2,4,5 tri-dichlorophenolacid acetic acid, Na, naphthalene acetic acid. These are the synthetic auxin. Clear?
Yes.
It is written like some features are written over here. I'm just reducing your hard work, right? They stimulate respiration, storage of food, cell enlargement, cambial activity, promote the cell division. They help in the tissue culture, help in root initiation, help in apical dominance, promote the formation of female flowers, responsible for parthenocarpy. These are the functions. Take the screenshot. Taken?
Mm. Yes.
Now you have to note it down in your I'm
So if I
just
study only these notes, will it be enough?
for oxen, because there are very few points in in the oxen paragraph in your text, right? That's why I given you. Another is gibberellin. Balting, you can see. Look, this is the cabbage plant. Now you can see gibberellin was extracted by Zibberella fusa cori, a farmer. Uh, there is a fungus. Sorry, Gibberella fusa cori is a fungus which causes a disease in the rice. Name of disease is Bakane, means foolish disease. And gibberellin was discovered by a farmer named Kurosawa, Japanese farmer Kurosawa. 100 type of gibberellins are found. They increase stem and look. The cabbage become from this to this one. This is called balting. Function: natural dormancy, bud, tuber, or seed dormancy. It break the dormancy. Responsible for seed germination, fruit development, flowering, formation of male flower, and parthenocarpy.
Sir, is it a good thing that bolting happens?
I don't know, but sometimes it become for the agriculture purpose. Sometimes it become beneficial, but not always. What you will do the vaulting? Look, this is the cabbage. This is a diagram. This is a picture, real picture of cabbage. Right. So sometimes it may be applicable for some plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the last thing called? Parthenocopy.
Development of the fruit without seed. You will not prefer to have a grape with a seed, do you?
No, I wouldn't.
Spray gibberellin. For sake
Okay,
of
so
example,
I've seen some grapes in the store and they don't have seeds. Is it because they're modified by scientists?
right, exactly. Either they are treated with the gibberellin and all that, or they are genetically modified.
Okay.
You may found some of the like in some countries you may found the like this one watermelon without seed.
Yeah.
That is parthenocarpy. That is application of hormones, plant hormone, right? Do you want cytokinin, another phytohormone? Do you want to take the screenshot?
Yes.
It's not in your syllabus, but I'm telling you. Cytokine, basic in nature, aminopurine or phenylurea derivative, discovered by Skoog and co-worker, discovered from herring sperm, responsible for cell division, cell elongation, morphogenesis means formation of
What's that?
organ.
Oh.
Hormone, cytokine.
No, morphogenesis.
Morphogenesis means formation of organ,
Okay.
formation of leaves, formation of fruit, morphological stuff. Right? Differentiation means formation of new leaves, chloroplast, right? Delay in senescence means delay in death, right? It increases the life of the plant. Right? Overcoming seed dormancy means responsible for seed germination. Resistance to high temperature and low temperature. It makes the plant resistant to high temperature, low temperature. Induces the flowering in certain plant. That is the function of cytokine.
Do all plants have all of these three?
All of these five.
Five, yeah.
Another hormone is ethylene. This is the only hormone in world which is in foreign gaseous state.
Okay.
It stimulates transverse or isodiametric growth and retarded the longitudinal growth. Means it decrease the length of the growth, increase the horizontal growth. Hasten the senescence means If you spray the ethylene, leaf and fruit will fall quicker. Right? It promote the apical dominance, promote the length, break down dormancy, root initiation, ripening of fruit. That is the main feature. It is responsible for ripening of the fruit.
What is necrosis?
Necrosis means death. What happened? Why the mature leaf fall? In the mature leaf, death of tissue start at this part, petiole part. This death of the tissue is called necrosis. A dead layer is formed, and due to which fruit and leaf fall. Means this dead layer is called abscission layer. Right? Fruit or leaf. That's why the ripened fruit and leaf fall.
This book is not really good, by the way.
Sorry?
This book is not really good. It's not helpful.
Actually, you joined very late. Otherwise I would have taught you beyond your book, right? But time is very constrained. Like I had a target to complete your syllabus, so I just taught you 20% more than your syllabus, right? In
Yeah,
some
that's
topics
also more than enough, but I've studied some parts of plants in the first half that I think should have been added in this chapter, not in the previous ones.
Okay, so otherwise, right, there are a number of the things which you need to add on in this book. The chapters, the worst thing is with this textbook, that the chapters are not in sequence.
Yeah.
Plant physiology should be in one go, and what they are doing, you can see even in this chapter, they have just incorporated and zoology and botany in the same chapter. That is
Yeah.
not a justified way. That is not at all. How you can compare the a plant hormone with the animal hormone? There is no comparison.
Yeah.
So
Actually, that's how the exam comes.
yeah. So that's why I'm taking the reference of your textbook, because your exam will be designed. Your examiner will design your exam according your textbook, right?
Yeah.
That's why I always follow it, right? So this was the and last but not the least, that is abscisic acid, ABA, right? Abscisic. This is also known as dormant, right? Because this is responsible for inducing the dormancy. Means it make the seed to sleep down. Until unless this is present inside the seed, it will not allow the seed to germinate, right? It is called stress hormone or drought resistant hormone. Why? Because if there is a less water available around the plant, right? A plant have this scarcity of water. It will release more and more abscisic acid. Abscisic acid will close down the stomata and reduces the transpiration. That's why it will save the plant for the longer time period. It is called dormant because it induces the dormancy in the seed, right? Uh, it is responsible for bud dormancy, seed dormancy, reduces the transpiration by closing the stomata. A small quantity of abscisic acid, uh, uh, it um, it allow the flowering in shorter plant like strawberry. It allow the rooting in stem cutting like roses. Roses are taken, they are cut in the stem, cut and they are dipped in the this abscisic acid. So the rooting start in those stem part, right? So these were the 5 hormones.
Okay.
Right?
It's a stress hormone for plants.
Right. Means stress hormone, it do not give the stress. Rather, it protect the plant as a stress situation, like water stress, temperature stress, right? Protect the plant at the time of scarcity of water or high temperature. Got it?
Okay.
So when plant is at stress, it help the plant. That will called stress hormone, right? Got it?
Yes.
Come to now your uh, phytochromes. Plant make the number of the different phytochrome, but they respond to the light in the some way. Uh, a phytochrome is a blue-green pigment that exists in two interconvertible forms: P1, P660, and red light absorb the red light, or P730 absorb the far red light. Right. These absorption of light by one form of the pigment convert it reversibly into another form. This can explain in the germination of the seedling noted above. Flash of red light produces biologically active P1, right? PFR, right? Which trigger the germination. But a flash of far red light convert PF, sorry, PR, that back interactive before before it have any effect. Seedling germination seedling germinates. Seedling germinate. It makes it's very small. What is it? P. I'm able to read it out. I must. Is there any way to enlarge it? Oh. What is written over here? Can you tell me?
Where?
What is this one? What is this one? This one?
P1, I guess.
No, it's not
No,
P1.
wait. Let me open my PDF.
It should be something different. I know this is the PFR. PR, is it PR?
Let me check.
P red light.
PT
PT? No,
or maybe PR.
P. I think P. It's PR. P
Yeah,
phytochrome for red
PR.
light. Right. FR is phytochrome for P for red light. Right.
What a
As
beautiful.
seedling germinate, it makes PR, phytochrome for red light. As soon as it breaks down to the surface of the soil and it exposed to the red light, some of new pigment converted into PFR. Right. Means PR converted to P far red. For that point, towards the two interconvertible form exist in the plant. The length of the time it takes for one form of pigment to be converted into another other dependent on the light intensity. In low light intensity, it takes a minute. In high light intensity, it takes a second. In the dark, the PFR means P for right is converted into PR, P red light, very slowly. But no PR is converted back into P converted back. Sorry, PR is more stable form of the pigment, but but it is the PFR that is biologically active. What they want to tell us.
I
The
don't know.
balance between the two form of the phytochrome is affected by varying period of the light, the dark, that then affect the plant metabolism, including flowering pattern. Sunlight contains more red light than far red light. So during the daytime hours, most of the phytochrome in the plant in far red form, PFR. If the night period is long enough, all the phytochrome is converted back into PR form. Phytochromes enable the plant to respond to the environmental cues such as change in the day length. In some cases, phytochrome have a stimulating effect on the growth of the plant. In other, they inhibit the growth. Exactly how the phytochrome influences the response of the plant is still not fully understood. But as you have seen in section this one, evidence increasing the suggests that the presence of the phytochrome stimulates the production of other growth regulator in the plant, resulting to the response to the light. Means they do not have direct impact, they have indirect impact. Look, short day time plant, SDP means short day plant. So basically they bloom in the winter when the days are the short and nights are longer. Long day plant, basically they bloom in the summers when days are longer, but nights are shorter. Day neutral plant, those plant which have nothing to do with the what? Day length. Either winter means they flower for all the 12 months, right? So that is SDP, LDP, and DNPs. How the signal is received. Let's do how the signal is received. All the researches on photoperiodism indicate that involvement of the phytochrome in sensitivity of flowering pattern of the plant is photoperiod. The change in flowering pattern can be caused by disturbance in the dark period and can also be affected by the red and the far light alone. Red light
So
inhibit
what
the
is
flowering.
photoperiodism?
Photoperiodism is the time period that for what the plant is exposed to the light.
Okay.
Look, nowadays these are the winters, so days are shorter.
Yes.
And the time period for the light will be short.
Yes.
Dark period is longer.
Yes.
So nowadays, those plants which are flowering, they are the SDPs, short diploid, because photoperiod is smaller, right? Clear?
Yes.
In the summers, exposure of light will be for longer period, right? So they will be longer. So those plant which will flower in the winter summers, they'll be long day plant, LDP. Got it? So that's how we have divided SDP, LDP, and day neutral plant, right? The change in the flowering pattern that can be caused by disturbing the dark period can also be affected by red and far red light alone. The red light inhibits the flowering of short day plant, but red light is followed by but if the red light is followed by far red light, the inhibition is removed. It is the balance of PR and PFR for that is key. The the current hypothesis in short day plant, the biologically active molecule PFR inhibit the flowering and lack of PFR allow the flowering to occur. During the long period of the darkness, the leaf of the PFR falls as this almost all converted into PR. This allow the flowering to take place. In LDP, the stimulation is reversed, and it appears that the high level of PFR stimulate flowering. The nights are shorter, so relatively PFR is converted back into PR. As a result, relatively high PFR leaves maintain all-time stimulate the flowering. Look, come to this point. The detection of the photoperiod seems to occur in the lower level of the plant. In 1930, a scientist first hypothesized the presence of the plant hormone known as the fluorescein. They thought that the plant produces foreign fluorin response. The changing in the phytochrome and plant transport system is carried toward the blood. This evidence included that the flowering and following finding. The whole plant is kept in the dark for from one leaf, which is exposed to the appropriate period of the light of the dark flowering is normal. As a plant keep total darkness, it does not flower. Using such experiment set up, photoperiodically exposed leaf is removed immediately after stimulus, the plant does not flower. If the leaf is left in the place for fewer, it does not flower. If two, these are the experiments, just nothing else. Phytochrome and transcription. What is the transcription? Transcription.
Transcription.
One.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Formation of DNA from RNA is called transcription.
But does it work in plants?
Everywhere, because the formation plant hormones are what? Protein,
Okay,
right?
so plants also have DNA and RNA.
Yeah.
Oh
We have
wow.
studied that plant cells have DNA and RNA.
Oh yes, yes. How can I
Yeah.
forget?
Yeah. They have the same X and Y chromosome like us. That's how they decide the male and female flower, male and female plant. So
Oh,
sex determination, like in the same way we have. The whole shape and the form of the plant is dependent on the need of light. What part do phytochromes play in process? The plants are grown in the dark or heavily shaded, or other plants become etiolated. Etiolated means colorless, colorless part,
mm,
right? If you keep the plant in the dark part or the absence of light, they will become colorless. This means they grow rapidly using up the reserve food, attempt to reach the light. As a result, the plant become tall, thin, with fragile, pale stem and internode. The stem between the leaf nodes. A small, pale, yellowish leaves because of no chlorophyll is formed. Etiolation seems to be survival mechanism, right? It means plant is trying to survive. All the resources of the plant part go into growing towards the light needed for the photosynthesis. Once the plant reaches to the light, growth shows and leaves turn green as a chlorophyll form. Because in absence of light, chlorophyll formation will not take place. What will happen? Plant will become pale yellow color, and it will give transfer its